Hey guys,
I'm Brady.
I'm Regan, and welcome back to our YouTube channel.
Tell them what we're talking about today.
In today's episode, we are going to be speaking about burnout in all sports, but obviously for us in CrossFit. So I think let's discuss starting off with getting into CrossFit for the first time ever and your initial reaction to training.
What's really weird is sometimes I think about it and I'm like, hey, when I did sports in school, as I got older, I kind of stopped being interested in training as much. And then, before, towards the end of school, we were going to F45 a lot. We were going to Split 1000 and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't a passion.
Yeah.
And then when we started CrossFit,
it was all in. I wanted to train all day,
it was the first time that I was all I want to do is be in the gym. If it was to watch my parents train, I'd want to be in the gym.
And even that year, at after semifinals, when our coach at the time was like, okay, you're gonna take a week off training, we were like, this is the worst and most devastating news I've ever heard.
We would get our programming sometimes the night before something for the week, or sometimes it would just be for the next day, and we would all sit upstairs looking at our training together,
and get so excited,
being so excited about training. I remember going to sleep all that was going through my mind was training,
excited.
Doing the workouts in my head over and over and over again. It was an obsession.
And I watched a video last night, and he was like, when you are doing something every single day for no goal or for no purpose, it becomes very mundane, very hard to do. For example, sweat or F45. It was kind of okay, I enjoy training, but it's I don't want to go do it. Yeah, and then when you're training for a goal, and you're training for a semi-final, or you're training for the games, it's okay, this is hard, but I have a end goal to reach that's making me more passionate about it.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think when we started CrossFit, everything was so new, everything was so exciting. It was we've never done a semi-final before, so working towards a semi-final was the most fun thing ever.
But also what's a crazy feeling is 4 years after that, having that same passion every day. It was weird for me to do something that passion never went away. I was waiting for it to become something that was I didn't want to train today, or
But I think it's because we had, the first year was semi-finals, and then literally the next year we had decided that we wanted to go team to make the games. Remember?
But I'm not even talking about even when we did semi-finals in lockdown. It wasn't something...
And it was right at the beginning.
Yeah, so I'm saying even in lockdown, it wasn't something that I was I'm not going to train now in lockdown. I was
No, because I think there was still passion. The goal. I think it comes down to still having the goal.
Yes, but there wasn't a semi-final back then.
No, I know, but still you're training for something for when you get back. It's also you're training to stay healthy, but I think 2020 we hadn't gone to a semi-final.
That's what I'm saying. There wasn't a semi-final.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So I'm saying even then there wasn't even a goal, and there wasn't. Well, there was a goal, and being at that time,
you want to be as good as you can be.
At that time, they had still they still had specific ways to get to the games. I don't really remember, but we were very new, and then so for me, experiencing something like burnout was a very scary feeling, because for 5 years. You're so invested in a sport and you're so excited to train every single day. Suddenly, you have this feeling oh no, why do I feel I don't want to train today?
So let's get into that. So let's say that I never had a feeling of burnout up until just before, for me, just before a week before semifinals for 2023.
Mine has been a lot longer than that. Mine, I think mine started, a burnout for me started was, I think I have a lot of anxiety, and I think when I was training for 2022 season, I did have a feeling when I hurt myself, I can relax now. There was a small part of me that was relieved to be okay, pressure's done for the year, no semi-finals for me. Obviously I was devastated, that was majority of the part, but I think that's when I realized, okay, you struggling a little.
Yeah.
And then even that, because I was injured, going into training was that whole time while I was injured wasn't I was training because like, you know, like I was excited to train. I wasn't doing much, but then it was like you're now getting back into training, and it was now training for trying to win semi-finals next year. So even though I had that break, it wasn't even really a break because I knew I was coming back into like hectic training.
Yeah, you probably should have taken it as a break. Though.
So yeah, but even like when I started training again, it was almost like straight into training.
Yeah.
So I think that's what made my burnout so much worse, because it was like actually so prolonged.
I had mine. Obviously, I was like all into this goal of going to the games. I like fully let this thing consume me. I was like, it was all I thought about. Every time I was eating, every time I was sleeping, as soon as I woke up, when I was training, I was visualizing. I was like, this has become my whole life. I'm going to live and die to this goal of making it to the games. Like, we are going to win. And the week before semi-finals, this was like the first semi-finals that I felt like really bad going into a semi-final. Obviously, like altitude or like training too much, everything plays a role in that. But I think like I was like, I don't even want to compete this weekend. I just want to like fast forward to like the winning moment, and like I was excited. I was so excited, but I was like so severely anxious.
Yeah, I think that there was a huge level for me and you where we overcompensated so much before semi-finals with being so excited about training and everything, that when it came time to do semi-finals, we were like, I have to do the whole weekend stuff.
Yeah, but from burnout, I like, don't even take this in a way as in like, I enjoy team training way more than individual training. Like the team training that I had with obviously Brady, Callum and Mike for the last 2 years was probably the most fun I've ever had training. And I was always way more excited to do a team workout than I was to wake up and do an individual workout. So the burnout never came from being in like a team environment. It just came from wanting to win so badly, and like being so anxious that like we weren't going to be ready or hadn't done enough.
But I think also where we realized that burnout, like it was very hard, because when we came second, in your head now, you like, again, like we spoke about this in our first video, if you guys have seen it, but like we went from like not going to the games, still having hope, but your mind is like almost shut off to the idea that you're gonna go. Like your mind's like, okay, I'm done competing, like I'm almost in rest mode, but then still being like, I might have to switch that around and get straight back into like competition mode. And then when that did happen, like, and we had less time, it was now you doing games training, which is like obviously very tough training, into
so,
like,
I think for me, when we found out obviously we came second, I was very depressed, and I was like, everything's for nothing. I just wasted 5 years. Like, what the hell? What's the point in doing all of this? I worked so hard, you know, feeling very sorry for myself, and I didn't want to train anymore. I don't even think, like, even when you went back into the gym, I never did. I like would walk in, I'd like literally would walk in and
angry
out.
lady.
I walked in and out. I was like, I don't even want to even be in this space. I don't want to look at a machine. I don't want to touch a weight. Even though I was still like, okay, I'm going to still tell myself that we are going to go, I couldn't bring myself to train.
And then it's like, well, now you're going and you have got like 2 less weeks than you would have had. And now,
it was three weeks less.
Whatever it was.
So we
and
find
now
out
it's
that
like,
we're going, and
now you're just training.
Chris obviously is like, okay, you know, we're behind. He like did very, very well at prepping us, but it was a lot of volume, like way more volume than we've ever done before.
And I think that's mentally the switch, going from my body's in like rest mode, like I'm in off-season mode, to being like, sorry, you're actually doing games training. And I think that took a huge toll on us.
No, but I was so excited. Energy was so high. Like, it was a vibe. We'd go and train as a team.
Not body.
So I'm saying, so like, energy-wise, everyone was so excited. Everyone was so happy. The mood was up. We were training as a team again. But like, we would be training and being like, oh, I'm training to like get it done. Like, we would all come in on a Sunday, and like all 4 of us would just be like, I cannot believe we have to do another workout.
Yeah, we train on we would train Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday, Wednesday, rest Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it would just be the 4 of us in the gym on a Sunday. And sometimes like the day was just so long. And again, nothing we're not used to. but it's been such a long season now
Yeah.
that with so many ups and downs with emotions that like sometimes you in the gym at 4 o'clock and you're like, I gotta do ring muscle ups and cleans now.
Yeah, and I'm so buggered up. But I look back on it and I have like a smile on my face, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
that
I
was,
really loved every part of it, but I was burnt out. My body was burnt
Like,
out.
the day I realized there was a day it was like coming up to the games, like before we were gonna leave, and we were in Deep River doing like a bike workout, and we still had so much training to do, and Regan and we did the workout, but we were like buggered up, and I think we both started. Did you cry or something? I think Regan cried, and she said, "Please don't make me do."
I can't do another workout. And then Callum took pity on me, and he was like, no guys, everyone's going to take a rest day today, no one's going to do the next workout. And I remember we did that little gymnastic fun thing before, like the day before we left, and I said to Mike, are you ready to go? And he was like, no, we need more time, I wish we had more time. And I was just thinking, I was like, thank God we are going tomorrow, because I cannot do another day of this training.
I was speaking to you and like Ashton and Darren and everyone and Donovan and stuff. Like, it's sometimes I mean I'm only a CrossFit athlete, so I can't speak for all athletes, but it's sometimes such a hard mental decision to be like, am I doing this? Like, am I taking the rest of the training day off because like my body genuinely really needs it? Like, it's actually safer for me, or is it something like I just don't feel like doing? And sometimes you always tell yourself, could I have pushed through?
Yeah.
And that's what plagues you all the time by like when you make that decision.
You're like, am I making an excuse?
About it.
Am I making an excuse, or do I really need to like rest?
And sometimes I think that's when you either push yourself sometimes too hard because you should have rested, or like, I mean, I don't think it's often enough that I don't think that I've ever been like, oh, I could do it, but I'm not gonna. I don't think I've ever been like that. I think more of the time it's been I've pushed and I shouldn't have, you know. And we got to that point where it was like, should we rest? Like, we're gonna actually like maybe injure ourselves, or
and like when I say like Chris prepped us really well, like looking at the events after the cut, he really did prep us like to the T. We were doing all those movements every single day. Like, we would have done really well in them. But I think when we got to America, I was still feeling like burnt out, and it was like this whole dream, like I'm busy living like a dream that I've been wishing for the past 5 years, and I'm here now, and I like don't even want to train.
Being in America was fine for me. It was
even with training.
Yeah, like that was fine. Getting into the training with the humidity and stuff was tough.
When we were doing this kettle swing workout,
so that was very tough. But no, that was very tough because it was very hot in Madison. It was very hot, and we did it outside because we like got to prep for the games. We're gonna be outside, but then after the games, it was like, you know, it wasn't even the games didn't even take anything out of us. I mean, we got cut, so we didn't do much.
We really didn't do much.
So we weren't stuffed. We weren't fatigued.
Emotions, I don't know, you probably could have thought that there's something wrong with me. My emotions were so up, down. I was like, I hate this sport. I never want to do the sport again. But we must work harder, and we must come back again and prove that we can be top 20. And I think after that, within the whole experience at the games and everything, I was like, that's it. 21, retired CrossFit athlete. I don't want to do this ever again.
Well, we got back and we went on holiday for... How long did we go? We went for like just under a month. It was like 3.5 weeks.
We came back from America. We were at home one day and then went back.
We went on holiday. We're like, hey, we need a break. Poor Ashton, like, didn't really have like anyone to train with. She was like, please, can someone come train with me? So I forced myself to run with her.
But this was after
the games.
Yeah.
Regan refused to even run. I was like, okay, I'll go run with Ashton because shame, I don't want her to run by herself. So I still like ran a little bit. We went to the gym like once. Went to the gym once in like 3.5 weeks. I trained with Ashton at like the outdoor gyms that were like, you know, outside and stuff. And then we got back to Cape Town and Regan and I were like...
I was outweighing the pros and the cons. I'm a competitive person at heart, and I love competing. I love being on the floor. And I was like, yeah, I could give another 5 years of myself to this sport. I was like, it took me 5 years to get to this point, or for us to get to the games and feel like we still weren't good enough to compete the whole weekend. And I was like, well, what's the point in doing this again? What's the point in going as an individual for my 4th year to just like see where I come again? It's a hard sport. It's very demanding.
You see, again, that's where the emotions are really going up and down.
Yes,
again.
and then you're like, oh, but I know how good it feels to be on the competition
Yes, of
floor.
course, we're all competitive. You still...
Yeah, but at that stage of my life, I was like, that's it. The bad outweighs the good. I'm okay with stopping.
Yeah, so then we had committed before, like, I think it was while we were in America, we'd committed to doing a competition in PE. And even then, like, Regan and I, like, knowing we had a competition coming,
nothing couldn't bring me to train. Nothing could bring me to train.
We knew the workouts. We knew how to use 2 24 kg kettlebells, and like I literally sometimes I couldn't even I was like, I don't want to lift. I couldn't get myself to train properly.
Even then, I was like, wow, this is going to be so embarrassing, and I was like, I don't care actually if this is embarrassing. I just didn't want to train.
I distinctly remember Chris speaking to me, and he was like, Brady, like, I know this is how you feel now, but you need to make a decision, like, and this was in like November. He was like, you need to make a decision now if you want to do next season, because if you decide, he said, you need to decide like in the next week, because if you decide 2 weeks from now, like, you don't have enough time, it's too late. You're not going to, you'll do the season, but it will be for fun.
Yes, Chris said the same thing to me.
And I was like, I don't want to do the season.
And then I was like, no, I don't want to do the season. I'm going to book a trip to Thailand with Shiana in January for a month, so I can't cop out. There's like kind of no way for me to do the season, because I'm going to have no time to prep. I'm going to be living my wildest dreams up in Thailand, and I'm not going to compete.
Before that, you know what also happened? I was like, okay, I kept saying to Ashton, because Regan was still at the stage where she didn't even want to walk into the gym. So I was like, okay, Ashley, she was trying to go individual this year before she hurt her ankle, and I kept saying, okay, Darren was going to Australia in November. I said, okay, when Darren leaves, I'll train with you, like full competition training. Even though I wasn't going to compete, but I was going to do it with Ashton, so she had someone to train with. But I still wasn't going to compete. And I was like, I'll sacrifice my feelings so that she is a training partner. And then Darren went to Australia and I didn't train.
Really?
I couldn't. I did like one workout. Yeah. I did like a class workout, and I still couldn't bring myself to train. Then Ashton hurt herself, and I was like, well, no, I'm definitely not training. Now I have no reason to train. Regan's going to Thailand.
And even before then, I was like, I would walk in and I just did lifting. And then in December, my lifting actually started to get like really good. And I was finally hitting like some of my old numbers. And then I got on a plane, I went to Thailand. And I didn't eat because I don't really like Thai food. So I came back skinny as ever. And Ashton sat me down and she said, please, can you compete this season?
We said, okay, Ashti, maybe there's a chance that we can go in a team and put you as the reserve or something, so that if her ankle's better, she can maybe go in a team.
But then we knew, like, she's not going to have enough time.
She said to us, I cannot compete, so you two have to
compete. Because I can't compete, so you two have to. So then we got back, I got back, and then in February, Brady and I and Ashton all moved to Nicholas White, the Buffalo Tribe programming. And credit to Nick, he has done the most for us in the last 3 months. Firstly, it's brought my joy back to CrossFit.
Yeah.
Secondly, it was something new and refreshing. It was completely different to what we had ever done for like the last 5 years. And the program was obviously tailored to us because
it's personalized programming. So it's like, it's very specific. I mean, Regan and I did the exact same things every day. We are very similar athletes. Yeah. So it was nice to come in and do like, we knew it was very, very specific, and it was, again, like you just said, like very new training.
It was exciting. It was like, okay, I've kind of found my love for like, I want to beat everyone, you know,
especially because Darren does Nick's training. So Darren's been doing it for years now, and it was like, okay, well, now we're going to do some workouts with him, and like, we have to beat him. And then like he's got ego, like, I can't let them beat us. I mean, we can't beat him. So it was a very good competitive space.
And I mean also it also played a role that like Mike had moved away and Callum moved gyms, and it was such like sad vibes before. And then like when I came back and we were all doing Nick's training, I was like, wow, everything is okay, everything is like happy again, like I'm enjoying training, I don't want to rush home. I was like improving, like there were things that I was improving on that I hadn't been improving on in years.
There was a time, every single time I snatched I failed, like
yeah, like
and we're like going on to next programming, like I wasn't failing any lifts, and like I
saw like proper improvements, and the fact that after like I took so long off that I am where I am now, like obviously I did it myself, but I owe a lot of that credit to Nick.
Yeah, again, like I said, it brought back like a love that I really felt like I lost.
Yeah, and then we did the quarterfinals. It's the highest I've ever placed. I'm very, very happy with it, and still even now there's like a little pain in my heart knowing that I'm not walking onto the floor as a team. And I think that
it does suck.
Going team and like training and everything was like a newfound love for the sport, and obviously I love going individual. I just think I am a team athlete.
Same. I don't like going against Regan. I like being with you.
Yeah, I mean I like going as a team. I like knowing that I'm walking on the floor and I'm like doing it more than for just myself.
But you know what the thing is? I think like the moral of burnout and stuff is you need to find it yourself, like
and I think everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
you know, if I didn't have a big break, maybe I would have just been like, still no, I'm just like not interested.
Yeah. Like I honestly think that we needed such a long break, and I think again that was something that I really needed, and you need to listen to yourself and be like, okay, like right now I need a break. And sometimes it's very scary to think, like for me, if I think I'm not a CrossFit athlete, it's a very scary thought for me. And it's like, you know, because that's been my identity for a very long time now, and it's like, it's a scary thought, but taking a break doesn't take that away. And by maybe if you need to take a break and you do like one class a day, and that starts to bring your joy back
even
into
though
training.
I had to like be so hard on myself to not say, oh, if I would have just started training straight after the games, if I would have, but like actually no, because maybe if I would have started training just after the games, I would have been injured, or I would have hated the sport even more. Like I truly do believe that like some things happen for a reason. So if you're feeling what you're feeling, listen to what you're feeling. And
100%. Like you need to have tough conversations with yourself. Be like, it is okay if I take a season off. Like at the end of the day, again, I wasn't going to do the season, neither was Regan.
And you see it happen to all the top athletes, and like you can't just go and go and go and go and go and like never have a break. It's just not, it's not, especially because CrossFit is such a demanding sport.
Yes, and again, like going back to when we were much younger, like if I was sick and I like took one day off training,
that'd be the end of the world.
It would be the end of the world. I'd have like extreme anxiety, and again, like sometimes that's not healthy. Like you need to be like, okay, it's okay if I, like, you know, my body's really fatigued today, I'm literally going to do one session, go home, and I'm
so if like you're injured, or okay, my elbow hurts today, I'm not going to snatch today, whereas like 3 years ago I would have said absolutely not. If my elbow pops out, it's going to pop out. I'm training.
So it actually taught Regan and I'm Ashton as well, I can speak for her and her injuries, that it's taught us a lot on how to actually train properly and how to listen to ourselves and our body, and like be like, it's okay to take a day off. Like
and I think it's allowed me for the first season of my whole CrossFit career to just be like, I'm excited to see where I come without having like, it's like my first year. It feels like my first year at semi-finals that I'm like, where I come, I'm going to do my absolute best, like without having to be like, I'm going to let this whole weekend consume every tiny fiber of my body. So I hope you guys took something out of this. If you guys ever want to ask us anything, or if you ever want to reach out, you can message us, and we obviously will respond to you. But if you are feeling this way, know that you aren't alone, and that there are literally thousands of athletes that you can find that are in the same boat as you. And you know what is my quote that I say?
I'm trying to remember.
You are not being punished, you are being prepared.
That's true.
You're not being punished, you're being prepared.
Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We will see you next week.
Oh my gosh, we're competing in 3 weeks. So
and then soon,
oh my gosh,
you guys will get to see our semi-finals prep, semi-finals weekend. We're only going to release that after.
we got some really cool, exciting videos for you guys. in the next coming week. So stay tuned.
Bye.
Bye.